Hello my scrappy friends and welcome to my channel again today. Today is the 2nd of May here in Australia. This share is for cut to you and I am playing with one of the International Scrapbooking Day freebies, which is this one. Scrapbooking is my superpower. And I've actually also pulled in this cut file, the leaf edge, and this is the page that I'm scrapbooking today. I'm using the Page Evans newest collection, Bloom Street. But I'll get into all that in a minute for you. What I've got here is a bit of a silhouette cameo tutorial for you. This is the file that I cut on white cardstock. I have copied it and popped it into a new blank document in my software. And then I have released Compound Path and deleted all of the extra lines so that what I'm left with is all of the internal letters, which you can see I've spaced out on my cutting mat here so that I have enough room to have an outline to do my offset around them so that it cuts a little bit bigger than the internal lines of my original cut file so that I have something to stick. I've then gone back through and deleted each of the original lines that I started with, and I am left with the slightly bigger cut file, the slightly bigger letter, sorry, that I'm going to use to back each of the letters on my already cut file. I've zoomed in here so you can see what I'm doing. Because I want to cut all of these on different pattern papers, I am using my grid lines to make sure that I line this up correctly, and I'm going to go through and cut all of my pattern papers so they fit, and all I have to do is peel them off my cutting mat and adhere them behind my cut file, which is all backed here. And you can see I've also put some foam behind that for some dimension. As I mentioned, I'm using the Page Evans Bloom Street collection, and I've cut down my white cardstock, I think by ½ inch on two sides, I think. Maybe it's an inch on two sides. And I'm just applying a coat of clear gesso because I knew I wanted to add lots of. So I'm working here with actually it's one of Page's stencils. It's the Star Confetti one, and some modelling paste. This is the modelling paste that I picked up at Aldi. I actually really like it. I like the texture. I like how quick it dries. It's white. Yeah, I really like it. It's easy to apply. So you can see I'm just applying stars. I'm going to use this stencil 3 times in this section. I do come back in a bit later and add more. But I figured since this is a layout about me, and I showed you earlier that I've got my 2 3x4 photos that are exactly the same, and a glassine envelope with some journaling in it. And that journaling is a little bit more personal than what I would normally have right there on the front of a page. I have no problem if anyone, were to pick up my album and read it. I'm pretty much an open book. But I didn't want to write it all out on the page because I wanted to use this cut file big. So basically the journaling just talks about how I see scrapbooking is my superpower. Since I got my ADHD diagnosis in November last year, it just explains a lot about me, about some of the things I say, some of the things I do, some of the ways I think, and my scrapbooking is my outlet, like so many of us. But I guess too, I also speak about in my journaling how I saw my diagnosis as a really positive thing, as, look how far I can maybe go. Maybe I have more potential. Maybe I'm capable of more. Maybe some of the things that I thought about I think I've spoken about this before. So it's basically just talking about that and about how I'm actually grateful that I got my diagnosis and how grateful I am for this hobby as well. Yeah, so that is going to be tucked into the layers behind my photo. What I am using on the background here, so you saw me do my stars, that's all dried, and I'm coming back in with Mostly I use some Shimmers products. I also use one Lindy's Magical, no, it's not Magical Shaker, one of the Lindy's Starburst sprays. I'll just find my list so I can tell you the names. I have no idea what I did with my list. But I decided that since this is a page about me, I would use my favourite things, my favourite colours. Obviously I've got stars, I'm going to use flowers. So yeah, I'm just doing what I'm feeling at the time and running with it. Now, you did see that I pulled out my heat gun. I wanted to make sure that pink was very, very dry before I added this lovely teal colour, because I do not want purple. In saying that, there is some purple in my background paper that I stick this white cardstock to, and I'm actually okay with it. I don't tell Tina, but I don't dislike it quite as much as I used to. It will never ever be my favourite colour, but I don't go out of my way to not use it anymore. So the Lindy's Starburst spray that I used in the pink is called Saltwater Taffy. The shimmers that I've used for the pink was Spritz in Cotton Candy. The two bluey tealy colours I've used is Vibes Jenny Bee Blue and Colourings Well Blue Me Down. In the pink, you would have seen as well, I added a much darker pink, which was Pink Stilettos. I felt that the pink was a bit too soft for what I was going for. I had a little bit of trouble matching this green. The greens that I'm using at the moment are very close to the green in the alphas there, but it's not quite right. So I end up kind of doing, I think I end up doing like 3 coats. I put one down and then I take most of it off, and then I put another one down and then I take most of that off. This green that I'm using is a little bit too moss green, but you can see that the colour's pretty close to that green on the R and the G. But the colours that I've used to start with on the green section, see, I'm soaking it all up. Shimmers in Celery and Inklings in Honey-Do List. And then that dark green that I've added is Run Forest. And I'm pretty happy with the colour I end up getting. See, there we go, lift it all off again. And I'm just going to go back in, and I feel like I get the colour that I'm after with just a little bit more colour. And again, I think I dried it off. I can't remember. I guess we'll see. The beauty of using clear gesso is that if you get overspray or colour where you don't want it, you can spritz it with a bit of water and lift it off if you're pretty quick with it. So yes, I did dry that off with my heat tool. I'm like, yep, I really like that. But I decided that I wanted a little bit more of that tealy colour down the bottom. But I didn't want to just add more colour without adding more stars. So I've got my stencil again, my modelling paste, and I'm just going to zip through here with those products again. Sorry, I'm also drinking a cup of tea. So you can see here I have come in with more of that teal underneath. I have stuck my second photo behind my title. I've added splatters in the colours. And I'm trying to show you there, I also added some silver splatters. That's Silver Bells. It's another Shimmers product. Because there's highlights of silver in this collection. I have also gone through and stitched around the edge of this white cardstock. Hot tip, if you want to distress edges, do it before you stick it down. This is not the only layout that you see me do that on, but I don't know, I'm doing everything backwards lately. I'm gonna blame Corona because I can. So I've also stitched around my photo with the same silver thread, adding some tissue paper behind, just making sure I like how that's finished off. I really loved that heart pattern paper. I was going to use it as a layer, but you can't really see what it is, so I was like, I'm not going to waste it on that, not as a layer behind. So I have put that aside and I'm going to work with what I've got. The journaling is on one of the pieces from one of the die cut packs. I have only written it in pencil. I do need to go back in and write it properly. I just haven't got to it yet. Again, Corona. In saying that though, my boys went back to school this week, so yes, they are happy. I have routine. I feel like a person again. We can see other people, which is awesome as well. I decided I wanted a bit more pink behind my photo. So again, I've gone back in with those products, adding splatters, and then I come back in after I dry that off and add more splatters in. This is the Lindy's saltwater taffy. I'm going to put that aside to dry and work on the layers behind my photo. What I've got here is the scraps from when I cut all the letters for my title. Yep, that's all the scraps. So you can see I've hardly used anything. This is a 6x8 paper pad, and you know there's at least 6x6 inches left of most of these patterns. I am quite literally just pulling out each pattern and trimming it down a little bit. I'm going to layer them up behind my photo. Again, I muck around with it all. I get it all to a place I like it, and then realize that I want to distress everything, doing everything backwards again. So yes. So you can see I'm just layering the pieces, happy with how it looks, or I'm not happy with how it looks. I'm going to pop it there. I'm like, excellent, that's the right order. And then I went, oh no, I want to distress the edges. So I distress the edges. I just use my scissors. I couldn't find my distressing tool. And I'm just going to go back in again and layer these up. I had a fairly good idea of what they look like. I think that I have a phone next to me that I've taken a photo with. And I'm going to use my stapler to staple all these layers together. Just adding a bit here and there. Again, just using colours and patterns that I really like. It is a layer. This one is definitely about me and me as a person, not me as a mum, not me as a worker, me as me. So I'm happy with those layers, and then I am going to stick down my envelope with my journaling, make sure I'm happy with how it's looking, because I do want it to peek out a little bit. So if someone is going through my album, it is it's not super obvious, but maybe they will be able to see that I've got writing there once I go over it in pen. Decided I wanted to add in a tiny bit more green to the left-hand side. Just going to add that to my layers and use my stapler again. Make sure all my bits are stuck down. All right, so I'm happy with how that's looking. I'm going to add some foam straight over the top of that other photo because I know exactly where it's going. Nothing is stuck down, by the way, at this stage. So I'm just adding some foam there because then my photo on top will be the same height as my title. I had to be a bit careful here because I added so many patterns behind my photo that I didn't cover up too much of those letters, but because they're so big, I was able to cover them up and you can still read them. I wanted to bring some more silver into my main cluster, so I have bunched up some silver thread below my photo. And you can see, I don't know if you can see, so I'm going to stick everything down now. I'm going to make sure it's straight. I'm going to make sure it's all straight, use my T-square ruler and just start sticking all of that down, just using my tacky glue. I have to use a fair bit of glue because it is so bumpy and textured. On the bottom there, just underneath where my hand is, I have got one of those, the leaf edge cut files. I cut quite a few of these. I really, really loved them. And I thought they were a fun little detail to add. And I love that they're white and add that kind of whimsy almost to my layers. I've got the sticker book from the Paige Evans collection here with that rainbow scallop stripe. How can I resist it, really? It's a rainbow. And I tried to add all kinds of stuff to this layout and I end up not adding very much, and I'm really, really pleased with how it ends up in the with how I finish the page off. I'm going to add in some of these puffy leaf things. the pink ones. And then I knew I wanted to add something to that corner, and I tried, like I said, I tried a bunch of different things, and I ended up settling on this green butterfly. I really love it. I feel like then it kind of balances the color a little bit better. I've got 3 of these little word stickers. I know there's a close-up photo of what they say, and I can't remember what they say. But they are white stickers with like holographic foil on them. They're so cool. I do place one on the left-hand side there, but it gets moved. I try to add one up to the top, and I'm like, nope. So then I add 2 there, and then I'm like, nope, the 3rd one has to go over there as well. And I'm going to stick that one onto my butterfly. So I've got the 3 there. Some close-ups on my video. Be yourself. That's the only one I could read. I'm just showing you there that leaf file. No, I can't read those other ones. But here is my finished page. I had a heap of fun creating this. Like I said, it's a page all about me. I had so much fun. I made sure I included all my things. Be yourself, create, and enough. So I just thought that they were perfect, especially with what my journaling's about. Make sure if you are not subscribed to the email list that you do if you want this as a freebie. There is another one coming. Shh, don't tell Gwen I told you. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure you are in the Cut to You HQ group on Facebook. Lots of fun stuff happening this weekend. I hope that you've enjoyed my share today, and I look forward to seeing what you do with this cut file. Scrapbooking is my superpower. Have a fantastic scrappy day. I hope you get lots of scrappy time in this weekend, and I will be back with you very soon.